Good afternoon to each of you, my virtual viewers. This is Encouragement Temple coming to you live again. We're all remote and at home. I hope that you all have had a really, really good Tuesday so far. I'm sure many of you may be connecting with us from home, or maybe you're on the road. Hopefully you're not watching and driving or anything like that. We want you all to be safe, but we want to thank you for tuning in to us, whether you're streaming us through Facebook or YouTube or some other platform. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We are at part 7 of Cured of COVID-19. We've had a really, really great turnout these last few weeks, and we are just going to keep the ball rolling. On this day, we have a special friend. I don't even want to say friend, but I can say sister of mine, who I have known for a long time, and we've gotten a little closer. I don't say we've gotten closer since the time we initially met. I've known her since she has been at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. We both serve as ministers there, part of the clergy team, and since then I've kind of relocated and planted with the Encouragement Temple, but she is still there. She is definitely a woman of faith, a woman of God, and she is my sister. We've had the opportunity to connect with each other on multiple occasions, and I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to share with her, and not just her, but her daughter, who is here with her on this 7th installment of Cured of COVID-19. I'm just going to introduce her to you, and then we're going to get started with the questions. So those of you that are viewing us, if you have questions during the broadcast, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will make sure that she gets those questions, that she's able to answer them. So this is Reverend Dawn Mays Floyd. She, again, is my sister, and you might as well say she's like my big sister, because she's older than me, y'all, so she's my big sister. Mm-hmm. She helps me to kind of keep my head on straight. and so she's here with her daughter Jocelyn, and she's going to help provide some insight with respect to her journey with this whole COVID-19 and how it has affected the family. We have Pastor Reed that's with us, who's going to help jump in and out as we are asking these questions. But feel free, if we ask something that you all have questions that you want us to elaborate on, just go ahead and ask those questions, and we'll make sure that we get those answers to you. Don't get like, share, repost. Let's go ahead and increase those that are asking questions, because COVID-19 is still out there, y'all. It's not gone, and it's real, and it's increasing. Yes. Okay. Don't let your guard down. Don't let your guard down. But we're gonna go ahead and start with the question. You want to start? Okay.
So my wife, she knows a lot about you. I know. Can you tell us a little about yourself for those of us who don't know who you are?
Sure. I am. I've been in Houston since 2005. But I'm originally from Massachusetts. And so born and raised in Massachusetts, did my undergraduate work in Massachusetts, and then moved to Ohio for grad school, and ended up staying there for about 6 years. And it was too cold. And I said, Lord, release me to some warm weather. So I went to North Carolina, and from North Carolina back to Massachusetts, from Massachusetts to Houston. I am an educator by trade and training, and so have continued to really walk down that path. I'm an administrator, and so I did a lot of working until I had these 2 children of mine, and despite my own desires, I decided to stay home with them, and ended up being a stay-at-home mom and a homeschooler for probably 10 years, and then slowly kind of moved back into the workforce, and now I'm a business owner. So that is the short version of how I got to this place tonight.
So is it fair to say that you've converted to being Houston Texans, Rockets, Astros fans, or are you still a New England?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, my brother says I'm a fake fan, because I don't really pay attention unless the Patriots are playing and unless the Celtics are playing. Now, if they are not playing a Houston team, then I'm going for Houston. But if they're competing against a Boston team or a New England team, I have to go with the New England team. So even though I've been here a long time and I consider myself a Texan, I can't let go of that.
Wow. She holding on.
So they should have years of experience in education, which I think is a bonus as well with in regards to what we're going to do today. Again, for those of you that are watching via YouTube, Facebook, if you have any questions, statements, or even a suggestion, please leave a comment. We'll just get right with the interview. So,
well, I want to talk to
go ahead.
Jocelyn too.
But daughter, we're so sorry. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 15. I'm a sophomore in high school right
Nobody
now.
can hear you.
I'm 15. I'm a sophomore in high school right now. Lately I've just been at home doing nothing because everything's, closed or really dangerous. So yeah, I help my mom with her business, but that's pretty much it.
Look, Jocelyn, I'm gonna go ahead and help take some of the weight off. Look, just how should I say? We keep it real. We're gonna keep it real. It's not a right or wrong answer. You just be you, unapologetically you. And you might hear us laugh a couple of times because we love to laugh.
Yes.
Mhm.
We laughter right now, especially with all the stuff that's going on. So don't worry. Don't be nervous about anything, and you doing right by staying at home because it ain't really nothing out there no way.
And, and Jocelyn, I'm gonna focus on you a little bit because I have a 17-year-old. You're in high school, he's in high school, and I know that this has been crazy times. And this is roll with our first question. How was your life before COVID? Your social events, friends, wives, and then mom. We'll ask you that after your daughter. We'll let her go first.
So before COVID, I got to go do stuff with my friends right before lockdown. It was spring break, so we had gone to a water park with one of my best friends, literally the day they closed down
The rodeo.
the rodeo. And then after that, it was like everything else got closed down. So before I got to hang out with my friends, we could just go out in public, restaurants and stuff. There was no kind of like worry. And now it's like, you have to be careful about how often you're going out, making sure you're wearing a mask, and just making decisions that are going to keep our family safe. And it's kind of tiring because,
Yeah.
Because you're getting a political correct answer because your mom is there.
Just don't worry about
But don't worry about this is my question. How often did you, in this process, did you ask your mom, can I go somewhere? I'm going to be safe. I know how to wear a mask.
no, not really. I know, I pay attention to the news and the stuff that's going on. And before COVID and everything, I got sick a lot last year because it was my first year in a public school with a lot of people. So I got a cold like really, really often. And so I just didn't feel like it was even smart to try to be going out all the time. And also, like, everything's closed, and I don't like having to go places where it's like, you have to have on a mask and be really careful and be 6 feet apart from everybody. Like, it's just kind of like, what's the point? So I haven't really started any fights about can I go somewhere. There's been a couple places I've gone. Like, one of my best friends turned 16 and I got to go celebrate with her. But there hasn't been a lot of arguments about where I can go.
And so, Mom, about you, how was life for you before COVID?
Well, my life had gotten a little rocky right before COVID, but as far as going out, oh yeah, no, we went, you're in the grocery store, you're going out. Spring break, we went to the water park, and it was kind of funny because I got the phone call about the rodeo closing, and my ex-husband said, well, are you stressed out? And I was like, well, we're at the water park, so nah, we weren't really paying attention. We out here with all the people. So I think now it's not having to not having to worry. You knew you were always taking a chance. I guess we never really thought about the fact that you were always taking a chance of getting sick or getting what somebody else has when you're just out living your life. But before COVID, I don't think I really worried about that. I was just
Right.
living my life, so
What?
Going out with no mask, just doing your
just out there maskless, just out in the street with no mask.
Let me tell you. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can to an extent relate because I know when they mentioned, I work at TSU, so when they mentioned everything that was going on with the rodeo and how everybody was upset that they closed it down and all of that, I was like, okay, so what are they talking about? COVID-19. I was like, whatever, that's nothing. That's probably gonna go, away. That's just a couple of people, and I didn't think anything of it. But then when them numbers start going up so fast, I was like, hold up, I don't.
It didn't get real to the people till the country shut down. I think that's when it got
Yeah.
real that second week of March.
It got real to me when spring break for my little kid never ended.
Second week of March.
That's what we're talking about. When that spring break went from 1 week
Yeah.
to 2 weeks to 3 weeks, it was like, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is we doing?
Yeah, and then,
Let me watch a newscast and see what's really going on.
and see, you have two. We had with 4 from ranging from 17 to 2. It's a juggle because
Yeah.
he's an athlete that's.
He think we were straight.
Yeah, he think we was putting him, keeping him in jail.
Holding him hostage.
Holding hostage. He didn't understand. Let me tell you how special this interview is. We never had a parent-child situation, so this is gonna get very interesting.
Yes. So
We watching how we watching your daughter's language. So Jocelyn, so you living your best life. You're hanging with your friends. Now you went to public schools, and I get it. Leaving one environment to another, your immune system is not used to it. Is opening up. So you're actually more cautious probably than the average teenager at this point because you've dealt with so much. But my question to you was, how was your mind framed? Like, were you excited that school was shut down or your spring break extended? Or were you like, I need to leave the house because let's be real, my mom and I'm tired of dealing with it. Well, how were you at that point?
Well, at first, when they were like, we're not going back, I was so excited because I was like, spring break felt so quick. Like, we need just a little bit more time. And so then they were like, oh, we're not going back to school. I was trying to plan stuff with my friends. And then they're like, we're closing everything. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, let's go to the mall. And then the mall was closed. And I was like, so that was kind of, that's kind of how that went. And I remember I was also upset because I was planning to go to the rodeo with one of my friends, but then the rodeo closed. And so I think at the very start, I was excited because, at least I didn't have to go to school. And then at some point I was like, I really want to go back to school because I was just sick of being at home doing nothing every single day. And then we did online school and it was just awful. It was so bad. And so then I really missed being in school in person.
Yeah, because I think with HISD, that online process was horrible. Like, they would get an assignment, and it would take them maybe 45 minutes. They were done with their whole day.
Well, we're talking about before COVID.
But even before, no, we talk about their life before they caught COVID.
Yeah.
They were
doing COVID during spring break. Yeah, you remember Junior would sit and do his work, and Junior was going on.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. They did that whole, we're going to send them assignments. And I would be like, so what do you guys have to do? Where's your teacher? Why haven't you been in a class? And it was like, these teachers were doing the best they could. And it was a hot mess. I'm not going to lie. Now, their GPA got a little COVID bump because, they have to do a whole lot of work. But it was not good learning. And they're in advanced classes. So I was a little worried about that. But, as an educator, I also understood that nobody prepared for that. And they, these teachers and administrators were trying to figure it out the best they could. So I had a lot of grace for them. But as a mama, I was like, I need to make sure they learn what they need to learn so that they're not in a position to be behind come sophomore year. Because my assumption was, we're going to deal with this and then August they'll be back in school. And it was like, no, No, they will not. But that was the original plan.
But you know what? And by you being a preacher, we assumed when we shut down that by Easter this would be gone, and I think that was everybody's assumption that's church related or that's involved in their ministry. We were like, okay,
We like, all the power is on the resurrection.
Yeah, so we just said, you know what? We shut it down. I remember making an announcement about it. Remember saying, okay, our plan is to open up for Easter Sunday. We just and Easter Sunday came.
And Lord said not so.
And it went and it got worse. Look, it got worse. As a matter of fact, the government went from saying y'all can have 50 people to 10 to nothing. And so the reality is, we talk about our everyday lives. Ministry was part of that, and not being able to minister or do what you do. As a matter of fact, we had a clothes drive, I think, scheduled coming up in March. Because we had a fifth Sunday, and we had to cancel that because of all the interactions, and we didn't know. And us with the mask things in March, like you said, we wasn't really putting on no mask. It wasn't like, at that time, Diane, at that time, we thought it wasn't touching us, and so. And so that's what we were.
So let me ask you this: at what point did you all stop going to restaurants?
Oh, that's a good question.
Even though they say, okay.
Did you ever stop?
Oh yeah, we don't do restaurants. So let me just say this about Easter. Your girl bought a skirt because I was prepared to go back to church. I just knew we was going back. I saw me a little cute skirt. I was like, oh, this would be so cute for Easter. Anyway, moving on. Restaurants, I'll be honest, I'm a lot of drive-through, pick it up and take it home kind of person anyway. So I can't even remember when it became clear, like, no, you can't, we're not going to sit in a restaurant, because I don't know. We didn't do a lot of sit-down restaurants anyway.
Okay. So I think that's where you and your sister, y'all have like-mindedness, because she's the same way. Like, no, they not clean. No, you hear the announcements. No, we're not doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we're thinking, and again for our viewers, we have our ticker going along the bottom. So just in case for those of you that are dropping in, if you have comments, you'll know what to do. We're gonna go to our next question. It says, when did you perceive that you may have contracted COVID-19? So that's what everybody really wants to know. Like, hey, so you were living your best life, and what was it?
Because you said you wasn't wearing a mask like that.
What was it that happened?
Well, no, at the point that we got COVID, I got COVID. Who's we? No, I got COVID. I only got tested because they were exposed by their father. So their dad, they were with him for the weekend, and he got COVID. And when he told us, I knew I had to get them tested. And then, of course, I had to be tested. And they came back negative, and I came back positive. But I was asymptomatic, so it was just a matter of, trying to quarantine in the house and not going out. I did. I mean, but they can't drive. So, if we needed stuff, I had to take them because they did pretty good. They learned how to go in a grocery store with a list.
You know what? I'm loving this interaction. I'm loving Jocelyn's body language. Jocelyn, what's your side of the story?
Okay, so she did an okay job of, I'll say pretty good, of staying in the house, but she did not quarantine from us. She would guilt trip us into spending time with us and to spending time with her. We were like, no, you have COVID. And she was like, so you're just going to leave me here by myself?
Dawn.
I don't believe that's how it happened. That's not how I recollect it. It's not how I remember what happened.
Somewhere, you know what? There's your story, there's her story, and it's a truth somewhere.
Somewhere in the middle.
So dad had it, but then they come home assuming maybe they may have caught it from him. Mm-hmm. They come back negative, but you caught it.
Yes.
So what were you doing? You can sit back and say, okay, maybe this, I'm going somewhere now because the children, none of them had it.
Mhm.
So you may have caught it somewhere else.
But I hadn't been anywhere. Like literally, I was very good about if I went to the store wearing a mask, I pretty much had been home. And so I was like, whatever I got, y'all brought it in here because I haven't been anywhere. And his family was still connecting. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
So, they still had uncles coming by the house to see Granny. And, so they had a lot more interaction with people outside of our threesome than me. So I don't know where, and I'm not convinced that they took the test properly. If I tell the whole story,
I was just about to ask that. I said either somebody didn't take the test correctly, or the
No,
results-
because how do we both do it wrong? Like,
I'm with her. Because
I'm just saying.
So Jackson, this is my question before we go. Did you catch it along the way?
no. We did have a COVID scare recently, though. I had a cold and I had to get tested, and we thought I could have it, but I didn't. So I've never gotten it.
So mom thinks you guys didn't take the test. Why is that?
Because they're teenagers and they don't do right. No, they had to put it in their mouth, and it was like cough deeply. You're reading the instructions. Cough deeply. And I'm not convinced that they did the coughing because we were all in the car, and I'm and they're just like, and so I'm just not convinced that they stirred up whatever was in there, really.
Yeah, I didn't jump ship. I'm on mama's side now because I thought y'all got it.
Well, see, yeah, that's what I was gonna say because they mentioned that there are, I think, 3 different ways to get tested.
Yeah,
We've gotten tested before, and that's just simply because circumstance. We go on stores, you just don't know. People touching canned goods, you touching it, and your eye itch and all that. So we got tested. Even my 6-year-old got tested as well, but we didn't do the mouth. They went up the nose.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yes. So.
Well, that feeling that it would be horrible was what was happening with her. And she was all like having a meltdown that no, she can't do the nose thing. And then the only place we could go that could get an appointment that would take people under 18 was the drive-through one. And that's what they were having you do. So, I think she's gotten the nose one now because we just had to do that last week. But I've never had the nose one done.
That you don't want it. It's very uncomfortable. I didn't lie to you. You do it for about 10 seconds. And yeah, I had to deal with it because she went before me, right? I'm a big baby, but I'm not going to let her outdo me. And so I had grabbed onto something and I took it, and I couldn't let none of the other children. Remember, I have a 17, a 12, and a 6 that has to take it. So I can't let them see me shake, because if I shake, they go like, "No, Dad, well, you didn't want to take it, Dad. If you're not gonna take it, why should we?" And so, I had to deal with it. So wow, so
you okay? So you didn't have any symptoms, so it was just kind of situational. It was just, okay, well, he got, he positive. We probably all positive, and then we can just,
But you
work this thing out together. So you quarantined yourself for.
Let's get back to this. Go ahead.
For I guess how
we're gonna ask Jocelyn.
I was in the house for 14 days, except when I had to drive them somewhere, like to go in the store on our behalf.
She went to the store before it was 14 days.
I don't believe that's true.
She was trying to go to the store after she tested positive, and I was like, "You can't do that." So then Jeffrey and I had to go.
I was like, I have kids, and I'm the only adult in the house, and so if I have to go to the store, like, I don't think people think about that. That if you test positive, but you're not sick, or even if you are sick, but if you're a parent and you have children, and you have to go to the store, not to get the extra, like, oh, I prefer Oreos over chocolate chip, but like, we need milk, we need eggs, we need food.
So
Go
people
ahead, because I'm finna go somewhere with
because I was
this.
gonna ask.
I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna twist the story a little bit.
See,
Because I hear what you're saying, but Jocelyn at the time, she's 15.
Yes, so I did drive them to the store. When she said, "No, mommy, you can't go in. We will go in. Just make us a list." I made them a list and sat in the parking lot.
Okay.
And they,
So, did you wear a
Okay.
mask though?
oh yeah, of course. We've been masked. We don't go anywhere without a mask
No, I
at this
mean in the
point.
house.
I'm saying Jocelyn
In the house? Oh no. Mm-mm.
I told her. I tried it. I tried it, and she was like,
So Jocelyn, basically, she
Not helping me, Don.
didn't fully quarantine. She just walked around the house.
"Yes, that's what I'm saying."
Don, come on, baby.
Listen.
Look at that.
She ain't lying. I can't even say.
So,
That's what had happened.
wow. Wait a minute. So, I have plenty of thoughts right now because in quarantine, you're supposed to stay in one room,
Yes, that's all.
the room with the restroom, and don't leave. and so you coughing now. and the kids were basically supposed to take care of you. Now, Jocelyn, you said earlier that you was telling her mom you're not doing it right. How did you feel when she was not obeying the quarantine rules?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have to tell you
Right
something.
now, you say it.
I gotta tell you something. She didn't used to wear her mask over her nose, and I think that's why she tested positive.
There we go. Now we getting somewhere. So.
She could be telling the truth. I don't know.
Reverend,
I think their daddy gave it to me. That's what I think happened. But it could have been the mask. It could, I'm not going to discount that that's what the child feels. But I'm just saying, I think for myself, that's not what I think happened, but that's her opinion. So we're going to let her have it.
Anyway.
Jocelyn, it would have been perfect for you to have a witness who's your brother, but he's busy right now.
Right? Yes.
Father, 2 or 3, let your words be established. So, mama didn't do right. Basically, she didn't do right when she supposed to have the mask on. But
She fixed it after she tested positive. She fixed it. She wears it right now, but she didn't, and I was like, so when she didn't follow the rules, I was kind of like, dude, like this is a whole thing. You can't.
Bro, wait a minute. So you say she wasn't wearing her mask, correct? Where was she going?
Just to the store. She would go to the store to get out of the house.
What store?
Jocelyn.
No,
I don't think.
I'm going to a grocery store. I'm going somewhere because you go to a grocery store, Walmart. There's a lot of people in there. And my wife and I, we went to Sam's, right?
Look, this is all in love. You're not on trial. I promise you.
No,
I'm better now. So, y'all talking about past sins, and I understand we're trying to help other people. But, I'm better now. I follow all the rules. So.
No, we going that's later on down the road. That's a question later on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I can be honest with you,
in
in this beginning thing, I wasn't really feeling the mask like that, but she made sure we were feeling the mask. And she made sure that after February, my birthday, the 29th, we didn't really go nowhere. We hadn't really been nowhere since. We're in October. We haven't been no restaurants. My hair, this is quarantine hair.
Look, his hair is like you all's now.
You haven't let him go to the barber shop?
No, that ain't even her no more. I've adopted it.
But see, I've
in the beginning, I was like, but when the surge came in June, when they started opening up barbershops, I've gotten to the point where I felt like this was mass murder. You open everything up at one time and everybody go flock and things like that. So I told her, we just not gonna go, because this thing Because in March, again, I was under the impression we're not catching it. African Americans,
Yeah.
because that was a report. So I'm like, we're good. I don't need to wear no mask. None of us catching it. But then in April,
The
all
Lord
of
said not so.
yeah, they flipped the script. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe when they shut everything down, maybe we need to take this a little bit more seriously. So again, she was in the beginning. She was the one that was stern, and I was like, man, forget all this. Now it's like, okay, we're here together because we start seeing numbers, we start seeing death. We saw how the country got shut down and how it stayed shut down, and it got to a point where, you know what, we can't do this.
Look, I'm just gonna put a little side note. It has nothing to do with this. Our sister Quisha is on the call, kind of watching.
Laughing at you.
She's laughing at you, and she wants to let you know that. So if y'all keep seeing me looking down, because I'm looking at comments.
Oreos.
She said, I prefer Oreos over chocolate chips.
Quisha, we on the same page.
So,
So, Don, we're going to move forward because we're not trying to keep your whole time, but if we do, this has been real good. I have to say it. This has been good because of Jocelyn and Mom. I'm going in order. So, how did you feel because after you received your diagnosis, because you was asymptomatic. So how did you feel once you were diagnosed as having COVID?
Yeah, they said wait, before we get there, how long did it take?
That's a good question.
To get an answer?
Yeah.
Oh, it was probably a week, 4 or 5, at least 5 days.
Yeah.
It was a long process.
When did you get it? What month?
That was July. Was it July? Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, it was July. I know it was July. It was right at the end of June going into July. Because the kids were supposed to go with their dad for the entire month of July.
Mm-hmm.
And so then
I know about that one.
he got the diagnosis. So it was like, okay, well, they can't come until everybody has been tested, one, and is negative. And so he was symptomatic. And so, it took us about a week to get our answer. Took about a week for his mom and his sister and everybody to get their diagnosis, and then for them to do their quarantine, and then to try to get tested again. He ended up testing positive a second time. His mother tested positive a second time. So they ended up I don't think they saw him the whole month of July because of COVID.
Wow. So you caught it in end of June, early July. You go to the doctor. A week later. Now, why are you waiting on these results? Were you in the house or were you?
Yeah, we were diligent. Once we went and got tested, we were just in the house.
Okay.
We were in the house because at that point we didn't know if one of us had it or if all of us had it. And because he had it and they had just been with him, I thought if anybody's going to have it, it's them. And so, yeah, we were really diligent at that point. That was kind of the wake up call. Like, okay, these numbers are real.
Right.
These, we can't risk it. And so because you realize what you're missing out on.
So I guess when you finally get the results, I guess they call you, text you, email you, or something.
Yeah, they text you and email you, and I think I got a voice call.
Okay.
So were you, because you made a statement about this thing is real now? So what were you thinking of this COVID before your diagnosis? Did you think it was a hoax? Did you think it was?
No. I believe science. So I knew it was real, right? I knew that people are sick. I know that people are dying. I don't think we all really had a good understanding of how it was affecting Black and brown people until we were a couple of months in and we started seeing numbers. I don't think we knew how bad Harris County and Houston was being hit. I think it just took the science, the reporting of what we were seeing to kind of make it plain that, okay, this is this is worse than we think it is. This is not regardless of what the president might be saying, the science is clear. This thing is really bad.
Right.
And people are dying and people are getting sick, and it's not just old people, because at one point it's really just old white people. That's what we thought, right? I mean, if we're honest, that's, I think, what the news kind of presented it as, that it's older white people. And the reality is, once it became clear, like, no, it's a lot of Black and brown people dying at disproportionate numbers. We need to be careful. We need to really, really be careful, because this thing is taking folks out. And I think seeing the news and seeing the numbers in New York, and, seeing freezer trucks,
Wow.
that kind of thing, you just never expect to see that in the United States. Or, they shut down Broadway. We were supposed to go see Hamilton. We were supposed to go see Alvin Ailey this year. Like, to see all of these things that are financial impacts for the city be shut down, it's like, oh, okay, this thing is real. They cutting off the money. We have to be real serious. And so I want to say, like, June into July was when it was like, okay, we can't play around.
So Jocelyn, the score, the results come back. Mom has it. You and your brother, you guys do not have it. What were your feelings at that moment to know that, yay, I don't have it, but wow, Mom has it? How were you? Were you excited? What were your emotions? What were your thinking?
Were you confused because she didn't have any symptoms, but your dad did? Like, what
was going through your mind?
Well, I don't think I was really even excited that I didn't have it. Like, I don't even remember feeling that. I just remember being worried about her because she did have like a cold or like some allergies or something at the time. So like she was coughing a little bit and stuff like that. So I was really worried that, something would happen to her, because me and my brother, like, we're 15. She goes to the hospital or something happens to her. Like, I can't drive, he can't drive, and we don't work. So I remember being worried about that, but also not that worried, because it was pretty clear that, like, she was, for the most part, asymptomatic and, it was okay. But I remember I was also really worried about my dad, because he did have the symptoms and he ended up going to the hospital, and that was really scary. And I think that that's when I realized that it was, like, actually real, because I knew it was real. And I remember talking to my brother about this. Like, we knew it was real because we see it on the news and stuff, but until it's somebody who's, like, close to you, it just feels really like just like something that you see on the news.
And like attached to it until it's close to home.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it is? I think that teenage group, because you said that about Julia, you won't understand it, because until it hits home, you don't really understand. And that's just like with any catastrophe that happens. We can see a lot of things happening in different states. You see fires going on in California, and you're just like, oh man, that's bad. But until your house is on fire, or until you have to, or next door, or you have to be homeless, or it's like people can't really, really empathize in a way that, we should be, and can't really relate. But you made a very valid point. That's your mom. You had concerns, but your mom is strong, and it's probably, I would have been confused, because I'd have been like, well, does she really have? She, and that's what I'm gonna go say, Don. You're the first person that we've had that didn't have any symptoms at all. You didn't have a fever, no loss of taste, nothing. You just moving around, just feeling fine.
Yeah. And now what I will say is, having the diagnosis will make you a little crazy, because, you cough a little bit and you're like, oh, what's that? And, so it is difficult, I think. That was weird, that feeling of, am I going to get worse? And I was concerned, like, if I get worse, where can my children go? because I don't want them going with their dad because everybody over there is sick.
Right.
But who's going to want to take them if I'm sick? You know what I mean? So it's like some of those mama worries. So I was really thankful that I wasn't really sick.
Jocelyn, was she really worried? Because she was still coming out that room, right?
She was not. Okay, let me say this. I know my mother, and she was definitely worried about what would happen to us if something happened to her, where we would go. But I can't say, I think that once she tested positive and we didn't, it was kind of like, oh, they're going to be fine because she was like all close to us and stuff. And I was like, you need to put on a mask or something. And she was like, I'm not going to put on a mask in the house and that kind of thing. So I can't say that she was worried about getting us sick because she wasn't really sick. But I think that she was definitely worried about what would happen if she started to get worse.
So nobody dropped off, before we go to our next clip, nobody dropped off meals and ran off, like, here, Dawn, since you can't go, nobody.
So, how many people did you tell? I mean, we're talking about the recovery process, but how many people did you tell once you got that diagnosis? I think that's a real question because
Just people closest to me. I mean, it wasn't a lot of people, particularly because I wasn't sick, right? And so I didn't feel ill, and I didn't want people. I wanted people to pray. I told pastor, I told the prayer team, because I'm like, I need y'all to pray because I don't want to get sick and I don't want to make anyone else sick. But I didn't feel
the symptoms.
Yeah, because I could get around and I had teenagers who could go in a store and buy stuff if I would drive them. I don't think anyone who knew me was concerned to say, oh, does she? I mean, people would be like, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm good. So, I don't think that's on people. That's on the nature of how I was feeling and how I responded to them.
And see, that's different because she had no symptoms. So technically, she was physically able. Well, she should have had a mask on and the babies, but she was able to do what she needed to do.
But then also, I think psychologically, when you don't have those symptoms, so I can.
Yeah, I'm saying we get where you're coming from. It's like I'm good.
Right. It's like this for like when someone has the flu, you feel the achiness. You feel it's like you feel wrong.
Yeah, you feel horrible.
You just feel horrible, but when you don't psychologically, it's like, am I really even sick? Was that a false positive?
Yeah, and that's the funny you brought that up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that going on, false positive test results and things like that. But in this recovery process, I like Jocelyn's point of view.
Because she's incriminating my sister.
She's not incriminating. You did the damage, but I get where Don is coming from because I don't feel no kind of way. And that's a blessing all in itself.
Right.
In these testimonies, if you go back and listen, we've heard some horror stories.
People going to the hospital.
And literally life is on the line.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you was like, okay, I got it, but I'm good. It's like I got it, and maybe the worst I may have is a cough here and there. That I'm coughing in the atmosphere, and my children is walking by.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. But I will say, I do recognize what a blessing it was because the diagnosis can be scary, particularly if you have a lot of other health issues, because that going to the hospital could mean you don't come home.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're going to the hospital alone. Right. And so I can only imagine for those people who were suffering symptoms. But I do think that my story is probably more consistent with people my age who have gotten a diagnosis, but who don't have symptoms. Right. And who are impacted, but not really. But it's more psychological about what that impact is because it's not necessarily physical.
But go ahead, Dave.
So I was going to ask you, so how do you think about testing for antibodies? I know, I don't know if you donate blood. I know that I do on occasion, but they have it to where those that donate blood, they can actually test a sample of that blood to see if you actually have antibodies for the COVID, meaning, hey, you could have it and just not know it, but your body responds in a positive way to it as opposed to you.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I believe science, but I don't trust the government, and I don't trust big pharma. And so I'm a little hesitant. I'm just being honest. I'm a little hesitant about getting my blood in a registry, or any of that right now. It's like I just feel like need to let some time pass and let's see where we are in a year. So yeah, no, I haven't thought about that. I do want to say, because I don't know, Christina, if you knew this, but my father-in-law died. So their grandfather died in August, last month in August. And so, you talk about it becoming very, very real.
Right.
They've had their dad get sick and worry about him, me have it, but not really, have any symptoms. But then to have grandpa, to have papa get sick and pass away.
Was this due to COVID too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had more of a reason to be real
right
concerned and really strict about how they handle this. And Don, you made a statement, about the age group, and I think those who we interviewed has been between. I think the youngest person we had was 38. So our interviews range from 38 to 60, and all of them have had these symptoms, and most of them were in great health. And that's why I say that I think that's a testament to, how you was favored to have it, but not to show signs.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was definitely the Lord.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone another way.
Yeah.
I'm very much aware that it could have gone another way.
And so, Jocelyn, during your mom recovery process, if you had to give her a grade, a letter grade, what would you give her and why?
Well, what was she recovering from?
She
didn't
still
have
had,
symptoms.
but she still had it. That ain't the point. She still had it. And I'm loving this interaction because we never had on this whole. So this is good.
When I think recovery, I think that you was down for the count.
Did you still have it?
I wasn't down.
You wasn't down, but you still had it. And once you get down, you still have the court. Jocelyn.
I would say overall, from like her getting the diagnosis
be honest.
I would give her like a B-, like an 82, because she did not care about Jeffrey and I getting it. She was like, no, come watch this movie in my bed with me. I'm gonna tell it. And she went to the store. She went to the store one time because Jeffrey and I were asleep. And she was like, we needed milk. And I was like, I already told you can't go to the store. So I would give her a low B, because she didn't go out. So,
Wait, did you hear what she just said? So your mom went to the store to get some milk. What she should have been.
It was something like that. It was something that we like use every day.
No. I'm not incriminating. I think but my thing is, this is real because because you still have needs, and again, Jocelyn said they don't drive, right? So if mom doesn't,
okay, so that's a plug in right now. When are we teaching them to drive?
That's what I'm getting at.
I know how to drive. I just can't drive legally. I don't have a license
or a permit.
She
don't have no paperwork, and she Black in America, so no, she can't be out there driving with no adult.
So Jocelyn, basically, you saying if it got to that point, you know how to handle it.
I mean, if she was like sick, then I would call somebody. We talked about it. I would call somebody first. But yes, I could. I might hit a curb or two, but I'm gonna get where I need to go. I will get to point A to point B. I'll take Jeffrey with me.
So both my babies be out there in the street.
Well,
Lord.
I by myself.
Like, I'm really enjoying this because we never had a parent child, and to get both perspective, how one said
She's a
that
teenager.
yeah, she's a teenager too, because she has her own different issues.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel some type of way you call them a child and they got that
yeah,
teenager.
teenager, not child. You're a teenager, because I know how that feels. You know, mine's 17. You call him a child. No, I'm a teenager. I'm almost grown. This is my last year, so I get it. So we just move forward with this, and so how, and this gonna hit you a lot of ways because you're involved in church. So how has COVID changed your view or philosophy in regards to re-entering public places, whether it's school because you're an educator, church, you're a preacher? How has your perspective changed in regards to all of this today?
So one of the things, we actually just had this conversation yesterday and today, the kids and I, because you have to make a decision about the next 6 weeks, whether you're going to go face to face or stay virtual. And so I asked them what their thoughts were about that, because I wanted to take that into consideration. The reality is the way my business is set up, it really is designed for parents who don't want to send their kids into a large environment. So if I get sick, I have to shut my business down, which means I can't pay my mortgage. So my view is not just the science, but it's also the risk factor. So, there's just some risks that aren't worth it to me. I'm not. Now, if I'm driving from here to Austin, am I going to stop at Buc-ee's? Yes. Am I going to wear a mask? Yes. But I'm probably going to make that stop. But am I going to go sit inside of a restaurant for 2 hours? No, not going to do that. So, it definitely has made me think about that. I think about going back to church.
I was just about to ask that.
I miss corporate worship. I do. I love church. Christina said, I love church. But am I ready to risk based on where the numbers are? What the science says is just not safe right now.
Right.
So, no, I'm not going to the movies. No, we're not going to church. No, they're not going back to school face to face. It's just the numbers are just not there for that. They kept, well, I'll let her tell her version of it, but no, for me, it's just too risky.
Jocelyn, can we hear your version?
I don't know what just of the question, because she said like my version, like there was something I was supposed to know.
No. Just like going back to
in
school.
general, going back to school. Until like the numbers are going down, I don't want to go back, because our school has a 9th grade campus. And when I was at the 9th grade campus, which had 1,000 kids, when I was at the 9th grade campus, I got sick every 6 weeks. Like every 6-week period, I missed school because I was sick. Wow. And the 10th through 12th grade campus has 3,000 kids. So until the numbers are going down, it just doesn't seem like a good idea for me or my family or her business for me to be around that many people every day. Like it just seems really dangerous and not a good decision. I will say there were a couple times where I did some things that were probably not the safest.
What you mean? Mom. Now we can get on her. Elaborate on this, Mom.
She know what they were. Tell the people.
Okay. So I did go to Typhoon, Texas with my friends one time. And I think it's kind of because she tested positive and I didn't. I did feel a little invincible from the virus. And that's really why the COVID scare we just had, I was like, no, I was supposed to be special. But
so here's the thing, right? As a parent of a very social child, finding the balance between her physical well-being and her mental well-being,
right,
is a challenge. And she was getting to a point where it was telling her no about Typhoon, Texas, to be with the two friends that are great girls and, whose families I know. To me, the risk was worth the mental health reward. And I think as a parent, you have to, you can't say yes to everything, but you can't say no to everything either. You have to know your child. And I knew that for her mental health, that break was necessary. And it was worth taking that risk for me and for her.
And it's funny you say that because I struggle with that with my 17-year-old, and I think what helped us was that we have a basketball goal out there, and I would just sacrifice my body. At 40, I just can't move like I used to, but I would have to go out there and play ball with him because that mental. Because she'll tell you, he was like, and my son, he's very social. He likes to go out to hang out with his friends, parties. He's that alpha male type of guy to a degree, and he was about to lose his mind, like
go crazy,
lose his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I would have to go out there and play ball with him just to let him know, okay, Junior, we're not trying to keep you hostage. It's just your well-being is more important than you just going out there. Now I commend you for letting her go to Typhoon, Texas. I didn't let him go nowhere.
But I'm sure, did you had a mask on when you went?
No.
I mean, if
tell the truth, you had no mask on.
Okay, I did have a mask on when I got there, but I did take it off because you can't be in the water with the mask. But we went early in the morning, like right when it opened, and so we were pretty far from anybody. There wasn't a lot of people there.
I think Jocelyn is responsible too, right, Dawn?
Yeah, she's a very responsible kid, and again, I knew, we had conversations about it and what she needed to do as far as you need to wear a mask, when you're walking around and you're not getting in the water. But I also, honestly, I just had to make the decision that for her mental health, she had to have a break.
Yeah.
That it was just, it was a hard decision because your first instinct is to be like, girl, no, you can't go to a water park. But, I really had to think through her that she's a whole person, and she's a whole social person.
Did you have her tested when she got back?
No.
You just trusted and just said, whatever.
I just was like, I watched her and I said, if she have any symptoms, we'll get tested. But at that point, they were saying, if you don't have symptoms, you don't need to get tested. So again, part of it is, the what we've been told as far as what we should do has been up and down. So
you're right.
So now a few more questions in regards to this. First, how do you feel about the reopening of some churches and some schools? I just make it one question. How do you? No, because she's talking about from her point of view. She said.
My philosophy is may the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. We're not going. We're not going. Yeah, no. And I appreciate that Jocelyn and Jeffrey are wise enough to say, you know what? It is not worth the risk.
Right.
While the numbers are going up, it just doesn't make sense. The numbers are rising. Why would we go to school while the numbers are rising? They kept us home when the numbers were much lower. So why would we go back now? And that's the conversation they've had with me.
And so now there is, as we talked about earlier, there's been a spike. Flu season is already here. So it's a big gumbo mix of everything going on in the atmosphere. Everybody's COVID-19 out. And, people want to go out. Colleges, of course, have reopened. We've seen the spike that has occurred on different college campuses. And we're sure that even in the elementary level, as I was sharing with Elbert, is that with our son, he's not the youngest one, the 6-year-old. He's still virtual only because, we know people probably share masks and everything in school. It's hard to keep adults
Same.
Staying, wearing the mask correctly and everything. And so, you have recess. So who at recess, they're not gonna want those masks on. They're not gonna want to stop hugging each other. They haven't seen each other in a long time. They want a high five. They want to share food. They want to do all kinds of stuff. And there's no way to really, I guess, police that to make sure that, don't forget, nope, can't help push him on this swing because you're not 6 feet. You can't really, do that. So
Yeah.
it's a struggle.
Then it goes with the mental health, even for the babies. It's tough.
Yeah, I am worried about that.
So,
but no. But for those of you that are viewing us, we're doing our part 7. We're actually wrapping up part 7. I have a very good close friend of mine and sister that I love very dearly. Her and her daughter, who has kept it, as they say, 100. Y'all don't laugh at me because I can't say it like the young folks say it. My mama said, no.
What do y'all say now? We said keep it 100. What do y'all say?
No, don't come for me like that. I don't.
She said don't come for her like that. That's what they say.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
No, I don't. It's really the same thing. I don't know.
Well,
Keep it crispy.
Nobody says that.
I say stuff, and she's always like, "Mommy, nope, nobody says that. Please don't say that."
I don't
Nobody
even
says
know where
that.
she hears it because, who is saying that?
Say what?
She said, who would say
She
that?
said, "Keep it crispy." Who has ever said that?
Yeah, I never heard it. I'm like 100.
I just be making up stuff. Sound like something they would say. I don't know.
Look, we say keep 100. My son be like, "Oh, that's so 90s."
Like whatever. But anyways, for our viewers, thank you again. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Jocelyn, for not only sharing your testimonies, sharing your experience, but keeping it real and helping us to laugh it all the way through. For those of you that are viewing us, last week we had the opportunity to do kind of like a round table where we just discussed what's going on with respect to COVID-19. We had a brief intervention. We talked about herd immunity and everything else that's been laid out on the table with respect to COVID-19. We want everybody to continue to stay safe during this season. Again, we just thank my sister and her daughter for coming through and giving us an hour of their time. We know it's probably time for dinner. Somebody's cooking. And so
yes.
we don't want to belabor this moment, this opportunity, but we do want to say thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome. I like being with you.
And Jocelyn, thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. You kept it balanced, and you brought the honesty out of the preacher. So we thank you for that.
I don't know if you would have told me.
No,
that.
she wasn't
Huh? What?
I believe if the son was here, some more things would have came out if he was here. I believe.
Look, we're gonna let it go.
So we're gonna let it go.
Let it go.
Again, before we close, I just want to share our announcements. Everyone that is viewing on our virtual platforms, just a reminder, we will have Bible study on tomorrow, 6:00 p.m. I think we're at 21 now.
21.
We're at Acts chapter 21. There will be a quiz at the top of the hour, so make sure you better do a crash read or something. But there will be a quiz at the top of the hour. Again, that's not to intimidate you, but that's to make sure that we are making disciples and that you are reading your word every day. So don't forget Acts chapter 21 at 6:00 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have our worship experience. We'll give you a little bit more information on any changes that may occur with that. But we do start at 9 a.m. And you can find us again on all of our streaming platforms. I believe that's it.
And we want to thank those who came out for our clothing drive that we had this past Saturday. It was a blessing to those.
Yes, don't forget to go and vote, y'all.
I was about to say
Don't forget to go and vote.
They're
I
funny.
voted yesterday, and it felt good. I went through the little drive-through voting, so you don't even have to go into, physically walk in the polls. You can just stay in your little car. They hand you a voting pad, and then you. Oh, y'all.
yeah.
Okay.
So we have.
Okay. Bye.
But y'all go out there and vote. It's very important. That's how your voice will be heard in this election. So it's vital. I believe our very lives depend on this at the moment. Also, for those breast cancer survivors, domestic violence survivors, God bless you. We thank you as well.
Believe that. That's it. Yeah.
And we'll see you next Tuesday for our 8th and final edition of Cure of COVID.
Yes. Our last one. Y'all made us extend this, so we did it for y'all because we love y'all so much.
Don, Jocelyn, we want to give y'all maybe 30 seconds to have final words before we dismiss.
I would just say, if you ever get on camera with your teenager, just be ready. I appreciate her taking the time because she normally doesn't do. Oh, you see the baby? He's so cute. But thank you all for having us. Definitely enjoyed it. Hi.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll talk.
He's like in a mower.
Y'all want to make sure he don't disrupt the cameras and everything. He's running in circles, y'all. COVID-19 is real.
Pray Lord God between me and thee while we absent one from another in Jesus' name. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Until then,
Be encouraged.